Fuck it, bro. I'll hit everyone. Good luck, everybody. He's so close to being dead. And he dimension doored. How did we not kill? How did that not kill? Pain. I guess I could have crowd controlled. I would be honest, I was kind of expect that thing that attacked is like 8d10. I kind of thought that would do more. It's all right. I live in alternate realities.
Mrs. Hyde.
Call me Cora, Master Net. Wait.
I should rename this stream to Blue. Wait a minute, what? How did he dimension? All right, the game just, even the game is sick. Even the game is sick of it. He dimension doored anyway. But even the game is sick of it. It's all right. I don't want to do this any more than you do. But we're here anyway.
Mrs. Hyde.
Call me Cora, Master Metzley.
Seriously. Now it's just not even letting me. Why? All right, if it, I don't think there's anything I can do here. But if it does not let me counterspell, we will. I mean, I think I'm willing to just walk away from this, considering all the progress that I still have yet to have done.
Mrs. Highbury, I prefer to conduct...
Call me Cora, Master Metzley. And I'm afraid I must insist on their joining us.
If
One's
I go
not good without
to
company, after
character
all.
select and go to click on Gale. Oh my god.
Why, yes, Edvard. Can I call you Edvard? Well, Edvard, I do support Lord Gortash's campaign. For several reasons.
Hello. Nice day for a walk.
Hmm.
You're both so uptight. Relax. Have another drink.
Speaks well, It makes you relax right now. What do you mean? You're drinking anyway. Now, Florian, I'm just saying, white wine is better.
Maybe for plebs.
At least white
Phantasmal
wine doesn't stink.
Killer would takes psychic damage, cannot move, had disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls. No, nothing here that would really immediately assist. It would primarily just be, well, That's not entirely true. There is hold person. Although,
What do I think of Lord Gortash's still watch? Well, I am so glad you asked, Edvard. No, a bit too familiar.
Not familiar.
holy shit, it worked. Holy shit, it like super worked. Wow.
Leave no trace.
Oh god, they're all gonna target the shit out of Gale. Oh god. Alright, well, the more they come after me, the better. Oh, great.
Well, well. Look what we have.
I'm willing to go for it. Oh god, girl. He's gonna dimension though now, right? Oh no, it's that one. Oh, you're fucking paralyzed. Please work. We lost. Yep. That actually almost worked. That almost worked. Being engaged in the conversation, I think. Because hold person. Okay.
Ah, Mrs.
Call me Cora, Master Metzley.
Character select. Go to this dude. The lengths I am going through. Oh, the lengths I'm going through.
Edvard.
Here's the real
Edvard?
question.
Well, Edvard, I do support.
What is the
Lord
range on
Gortash's
hold person?
campaign.
Oh, it's so
For
big.
several
Oh, great. I
reasons.
can fucking... I'm gonna stand over here, stay way the fuck over here. Yeah, if I can get Gale to not be
Hello. Nice day for a walk.
fucking paralyzed, that'd be great. Alright, yeah, everyone runs away. Everyone's like, oh my god, the evil people. Alright, Gale, this man is paralyzed. You have advantage? For the love of God, do fucking... Or not. Astarion, I mean. I need you to do game.
Let's have a look.
It's the uncanny... You know what it is? At least I'm peeling his uncanny dodge. Alright, now back up. I hate rogues. I love having rogues in my party. I hate fighting rogues. How are you throwing from over there? What's your attack range?
Close ranks.
Can you hit from here? Almost. You can hit from here. Ah, but you don't have enough for brace. That's fine. Branding smite. please. Oh my god, we killed. Woo! One turn kill. OTK, let's go. Oh my god. OTK. 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 Oh, it's so over for you sons of bitches. I hate you so much. Actively hate all of you with a burning passion. I'm gonna sunbeam all of you, actually. I shouldn't, actually. God, ugh. What a pain. Yes, man. Smite these motherfuckers. Smite these motherfuckers. Oh, you don't have a turn. Run away. Can I trigger that? Because there's supposed to be a fucking iron giant over there. If I can get that guy to come help me out now that the main important guy is down, wow, that would be so helpful. Can I have you hide? Like up here? Oh my god, I can't.
Be quick.
Oh yeah, because you're hasted. Nice. Do I not have a shot on this guy? I do. Okay, I have a shot on this guy, I have a shot on this guy. I can't get this guy though. That's fine.
Just like old times.
What do you mean not enough movement? Come on. It just said I could. I can't do sneak attack arrow shot. But I can do regular arrow shot? Are you serious? Oh wow. Lightning. Dude, I'm saving so hard after this. I'm saving harder than I've ever saved a save in my life. And I didn't even have the sunbeam. Alright, everyone come back.
What to do?
Lovely day for it.
Let me loot. Promising candidate, tombstone shop key, blah blah blah. Yeah, whatever.
It's been a long day. I need to rest.
Oh, this guy had some shit. Oh, whoa. Oh. Oh, this guy had some shit on him. Holy smokes. What's in here? Oh my god, hands. This dude's got boots of Dimension Door. Great, because this guy was annoying. Torn and bloody page. Yeah, whatever.
Passphrase, Sicarius, and a location. We should find this Kendall Howard place.
Does that mean I don't have to worry about all the assassination targets? Oh, yeah! Oh, thank God. Oh, yeah, because the Tombstone shop is like the headquarters. Okay. Dude. Sick.
Don't burn yourself.
Shouldn't have wished to live.
Yo, who wants boots of fucking Dimension Door? I'm about to give that to Gale. This guy's got boots of Featherfall. You don't need that shit. Trash. Get that shit out of here. I might swap out your Thunderwave ring for the Dominate Beast one. Then probably give the Thunderwave to Will. This was so great. Everything's finally coming up my way. Oh, what's that bow? I need to give that to Starion.
What do I think of Lord Gortash's still watch?
Thank you. Ooh, Glizzy.
I am so glad you asked, Edward. No.
This guy got some crazy good shit on him. Land a critical hit with a weapon or unarmed attack. Deals an additional 7 damage. Whoa. Dagger +2. Crazy. Alright. Here's what I'm gonna do next. Take all the scrolls, give these to Gale. Take the arrows, give these to Asterion. I'm gonna have to do some item or some inventory management
Have to keep going.
in a moment, so I can give out, pass out some of the good items around. Hello, lady. You're welcome for saving your
I
life.
am so glad that monster was stopped.
Are you still gonna give me $1,000?
My love. Me too.
Yeah.
It is confirmed. The barrels are ready.
Oh, baby. $1,000 in the bag. Freest money of my fucking life.
In my opinion,
Oh yeah, now I can make some good money. All right. Well, first things first.
I'm glad you asked. It'd certainly help with the dish
Are these flying boots? I don't know who to give these to. Sometimes I just get some fucking items. I don't know who to give it to.
Very well.
Promised at least 100 more watches before the year is out.
Once Gortash clears off
The Elf Song Tavern.
Oh, did I save? Now I'm saving. All right. Get our reward from the chef for the rats, the rat situation. And then
Look at you, just lying around, you furry chunkers. Disgraceful.
they're just kitties.
Oi, we got rats and you did?
Money. All right. Now we have to go find the disabled steel watch guy, which I think is on the way to the fireworks shop, and then we have to kill everyone in the fireworks shop. Oh, I just remembered too. I don't have to buy anything from the fireworks place anymore.
Don't tell our writers that.
Because I'm just going to end up looting the whole damn place. Oh, I think I dropped frames back there for a
Why,
second.
yes, Edvard.
A broken steel watcher. A tag wired to it reads, Unit defective. Return to the steel watch foundry at the West Docks.
Alright, there's this child. Is there nothing I can do to help this child?
I shouldn't have.
Oh man! Whiz-bangs!
Keep calm, Karlak. One bad flare, and you could blow this whole place.
Whiz-bangs! Would you throw one of them?
Better.
Alright, we're at the front of the building. I'm gonna save one more time. Because I'm about to blow this whole bitch up.
Karlak and explosives. Not a good mix.
Face it. And what does a... Excellent! Now,
You feel
Hello.
I have a special sample available just for you, if you wish.
What was the special sample? Oh yeah, you gave me free fucking arrows. Good
This one,
arrows.
Please enjoy responsibly. And keep your... Yes!
Thanks.
Let's see what this does.
Such a heartless bastard.
Do you actually not sell anything else of interest?
Another.
Actually,
looking to
don't
buy
you
a little
sell-
something extra then? Smoke powder.
You
and
have
spirit
thieves tools. Yeah.
needles.
All right, I'll actually take the
For
thieves
purists
tools
only.
because that is actually like very helpful. What is this noxious spore? Oh, yeah, that's right. I looked at that already. That was not very good.
Don't jostle.
All right.
Pressure steady. Are we at temperature
And they'll be picking
Maintaining temperature. Steady at the mark.
How many rage charges do you have? Are you out of rage?
8, 9, 10.
Karlak, if you're out of rage, that's kind of going to be a problem. No, because I didn't have you rage last fight,
Gonna need to change out this barrel soon.
right?
No time to
You should
rest.
still have one. All right, we're good. I'm good to take this fight.
Press ahead.
Employees only pass.
I don't give a fuck.
You've set foot in a restricted area.
Attack!
Just a bastard if it breaks. Won't blow us up.
Oh, you know what I should do?
Pressure steady. Are we at temperature yet? Maintaining steady at the mark.
Now this is my happy place.
What fools these mortals be.
Do I have anything debilitating? I could bone chill you.
Pipes are looking a little rusted. Are we scheduled for maintenance?
Can't afford a failure on a critical pipe.
Not critical, just a bastard if it breaks. Won't blow us up.
Nah, it don't look like it.
Steady. Any spillage and I'll be picking my teeth out of roof beams.
Pressure steady. Are we at temperature yet?
How much? This is 3d6. That's really not a whole lot. All right. I'm just gonna have you stand back and do firebolt, I guess. That or bone chill. Yeah, do bone chill. Cantrips. Yeah,
Is ever easy.
cantrip. Yeah, beat the shit out of her. I'm out of spell slots.
Are we scheduled for maintenance?
Damn, you actually hit me.
Can't afford a failure on a critical pipe.
Arrow.
Not critical. Bastard if it breaks. Won't blow us up.
Damn, you had money. Okay. Another free $1,000. I will not say no to that.
Don't mind if I do.
Pressure steady. Are we at temperature yet?
Let's keep going.
Scribbled note. Yeah. You know what my favorite part about all the progress that we're making so far in the city is I don't have to, I no longer have to listen to, set me free, please, won't you? Me, oh my oh me. Holy shit, that actually, I lost brain cell. I lost years of my life, listening to that pixie. Grenade.
There's nothing.
Grenade. Yes! Oh god, that's awesome. All right, well, we spooked everyone downstairs, so we're gonna have to get out of here.
Time to move.
We gotta take the upstairs. Can I shoot one of these? Oh my god, I can. I feel so bad for you, but also I really don't. So I'm fucking you guys up. Oh, I can shoot you from here. Oh, sick. Nice. Does that not kill you? Oh, this one's still alive. I think this one was the durable one last time.
My turn. Tactical.
Yeah, I can't get her from here.
No gloom, all doom.
And I can have you cloud kill. What do you get if you upscale cloud kill? It does an extra D8. That's actually sick. That's actually awesome. Go for it. Oh, this person's almost dead. Oh, but the area's ignited, so the cloud kill gets fucking... it's flammable, so it's ignited right now. It's gonna take everyone here like 2 turns to come upstairs, so we're fine. I'm smashing this fight. Now that I know that I just blow shit up, that's awesome. Oh god, Avery's taking 2 years again. Avery, please. What is that? Bane's command. The creature will channel Bane's wrath. It is the Black Hand's will. The fuck is Bane's wrath? You just do an extra. You do extra melee damage. Okay. Is that bitch dead? Oh yeah, she's dead.
On my way.
All right. Well, we can just camp up here.
I'm heating up. No surrender.
I'm gonna try and funnel them all to the staircase, put cloud kill on them, and then just throw grenades and arrows. I forgot you have Misty Step.
May it please, Mistra.
I need to move myself out of the way.
Swords meet sorcery.
Cool.
Never a dull moment.
Grenade? I'm thinking grenade. What else can I throw? I have a lot of throwing things. I want to save my bombs. Nah, I'll fucking use it. Fuck it. Oh, I didn't know that would happen.
Death is but a word away.
Uh-oh.
Still on my feet.
That really hurt. Well, why did everything explode? Did everything not explode here the first time? Well, that sucks. That really sucks.
Time to press ahead.
I have no issue stepping in fire. I'm resistant.
With finesse.
Can you shoot this guy? No. I have to wait till he gets upstairs so I can shoot him. Oh, wait a minute. Here's a combination, right? Arrow of ice on the stairs.
They won't know what bit them.
I need it to be Gale's turn. It's not Gale's turn.
Let's go.
None of the other guards from downstairs have come up. It's just Avery. I fucking knew it. I knew it. Some Home Alone shit. Ugh. Oh, I lost concentration on Cloud Kill. God damn it. I don't know. What can I do?
Oh, this'll be me.
Alright, I'm out of movement. Ba-dum. Vicious Mockery. Bone Chill again. Alright, well, we could do Bone Chill. We could do Wounding Ray. It's 2d8. Actually, that's somehow worse. Dude, I have a spell that's just worse. Worse than my cantrip. And it's supposed to be a level 3. Although, granted, I can cast it for free, so it doesn't really cost me anything. What gives me this? It's the fucking amulet, right? What else does it give me? It gives me Ray of Fear. What the fuck is Ray of Fear? Oh, this one. Frightens your target. I almost never use that. Excuse me. I don't know, dude. Just kill him. Get rid of this guy. I don't want to see this guy anymore.
I wonder if this is worth the cost. Swift as my feet can carry me.
Looks I'm not on fire anymore. Where the fuck are my arrows of mini targets? Why is that not here? Or should I do fire arrows? Another fire. Critical miss on a guy laying down. I hate you, Asterion. Wow.
I got this. Heading out.
Should I have you frenzy? Yes, because I'm swapping out this team anyway. Why was I just hit with fire damage?
I speak, they burn.
Dude, I don't know, man. Just fucking bone chill. Try burning hands? No. Could I Ray of Sickness? Paths interrupted. Ugh. Ugh. KO can't do anything. All right. Dash.
Let's light them up. Nothing important is ever easy.
We'll just fight him on the stairs. I don't care.
Shouldn't have made me your enemy.
Lightning. Jump. You're raging, right? Yeah, you are. Okay. Get in there, Karlak.
Victory is assured.
Nice. We did it! I can't believe we're almost back to where we were. We're almost back. I just need to get to the library. Oh, my back. Oh, I also have to respec Chihiro. And we're done. I would have spent the entire stream doing what I did in the first 30 minutes. Excuse me. Granted, we're doing it a lot better. I'll use the bathroom real quick, and then we'll continue. I'll tell you what, though. I'm gonna run a 1-minute ad. Joy! Thank you so much for the sub. I'm so sorry. I was in the bath. Caught me while I was away. Oh, hang on. Let me grab my sweater. Hello, friend. How are you? Are you watching in from work? Oh, Cammy, with the treat. Thank you. Welcome back, Piss Boy. So what of it? Where's the treat? Where'd my treat go? Where'd the treat go? Did I eat it and just not notice? Yeah, I'm at Zip Pottery. Nice. That's a yawn. Well, thank you for coming in and joining. I just killed a building full of people who were evil. And now I get to loot everyone and enjoy the spoils of war. I ate it. Cammy, how dare you? You ate my food. Well, what's the line from Patrick? Go again. It's like,
what's inside?
You ate my only food. Now I'm gonna starve. Damn, this guy really don't have much. Type, no. Sort by weight. Yeah, it's all these heavy armors. These things suck. Why are thieves' tools so heavy? Oh, it's not even that. Yeah, it's really just these things. Do you have installation report? Right, that's how I found out that the throne is a bomb. Very good to know. Oh, yes, and I get to loot all the fireworks.
Gonna help you.
Alright, this is gonna take me a minute.
Wish I had a bag of holding.
Sort by weight. Let's put those fucking things back in the camp too. Take the spears, give them to Karlak. Fireworks. Fireworks. I wonder if throwing them makes them explode. Or do I need to throw them and then ignite them? Because if I can throw them and then ignite them, then that'd be amazing. Because then I could just throw like piles and piles of them, and then have them all explode at once, as opposed to having to have them explode individually, box by box. Because this is a lot of bombs. And the amount of fire damage I would be able to do, crazy. Oh, and I've got like a poison thing that like makes people forcibly resistant to fire. Or not resistant, vulnerable. That'd be kick-ass. if I don't blow up Gortash with his explosive chair and he doesn't die from it instantly, I'll just blow his ass up again. Into the hatch. And there's like 50 bajillion bombs in here, yeah. Except I also blew up that room back there, so let me not do that. Because that actually really hurt. Can't I right click? No. I can't send it to where, or send it to camp straight from the ground. Got so many boxes of fire. Uh-oh.
Someone there? A trap. Someone doesn't like visitors.
Forgot about that. Got another one. Right, there's this thing.
What to do?
Yeah, whatever.
Bet that'll fit in my pack.
Yeah, because the big boxes are 86. Oh no, they're all just 86. And like 86, that's kind of not nothing. Especially with the whole color spray thing. Not nothing.
Can't slow down. What's in here?
Pouch. Money.
Seems simple enough.
I also still have that beer that I never drank.
Be wary. This place is trapped. Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
All right, let me not blow this place up.
With haste.
Because it would actually... Can I take this? Too high, damn it. Yeah, I need everyone to stand very close.
Quite ready for you.
Do I not have Fireball? I do have Fireball. No, I would have... Can I not take these? Pick up and add to where... Oh, wait a minute.
No one back home will ever believe this. Light on my feet.
Pick up and add to wares? Holy shit. $4d4 plus 18. Oh, but this bitch is heavy, heavy. What does it mean to be in my wares? Oh, as in like marked to sell. Mmm. Automatically crits objects and environments, and it sets the ground permanently on fire. Wait, no. Can I just drop it? Okay, that works. I don't want to know if throwing it makes it ignite. Because, like, it shouldn't, right? Because I don't know. If we all stand.
You have my attention.
Packed into this corner.
Well, well, well.
Your desire?
We should be. Should be okay.
Spell a day.
Okay, that didn't work. I just think it'd be really funny if I blow this up. I just think it'd be really funny.
All right. What now?
I should have Alchemist's fire, right? I do. Can I throw that from here? Yay!
Here we go.
What am I supposed to do then? Miscreants creeping around?
All right.
What do you want me to do? Arrest the smell?
Some help you are. Where's the steel watch when you need them?
All right. Barrels typically don't ignite from throwing, but they're gunpowder barrels. It scares me.
One with the weave.
In rare cases, I've had it happen though, so be careful. That's why I'm scared. I'm scared.
Let's get going.
All right, I'm gonna swap people around now. To camp.
Swift as my feet can carry me.
Actually, I might keep Astarion with me. I just need to swap out Karlak. She's out of rage charges. And I need to do the whole Jaheira thing.
I look forward to the day we show the we can still. If you see, you'll need to free up your ranks a little first.
Karlak.
Then let us be a.
Wait a minute. Can I talk to this
Come
lady?
to bask in the glow of the Moon Maiden's sword? Be most welcome.
You should join my camp permanently. We can fight the powers of evil together.
Our thoughts are as one, my friend. You must face the chosen of Bane and Baal. I will do my part to see them laid low.
Okay. Does that mean I can't have you with me? Dude, it'd be awesome if I could have her fight along with me.
On my way.
Oh, I also need to sell a bunch of my fucking trash, make some money so I can have Gale learn all the rest of those spells.
I shall be here in as the
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Cantrips, guidance. Circle of spores. Cantrips. Don't you already know guidance? Wait, what? Don't you already know guidance? Oh, okay, well. That's odd. But sure, whatever. Now you get guidance. Feats. I gave you the feat of... what was it? Cheapy, cheapy, choppa, choppa. Resilient, resilient. Wisdom. Cheapy, cheapy, choppa, choppa. What is this? Wild Strike. You can make an additional attack after making an unarmed attack while in wild shape. Okay. You guys heard that song that goes like, Pedro, 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 Pedro. Da, da, da. I like this song. Also, this is shit's kind of loud. Is this loud for anyone else? Blast in my ears. Pedro, 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 Pedro. Alright, hold on, I'm doing this. Pedro, Pedro, Pedro. Ba, ba, ba. Ba, da, ba, da, ba, da, ba, 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 ba. It gets stuck in my head. Oh yeah, I gave you alert. Poison spray. Right, and then you just got a bunch of spells. Spells for the spellless. Hero's Feast. Cheapy, cheapy, choppa, choppa, conjure elemental, insect plague. Woodland being, grasping vine, plant growth, sleet storm. Call lightning might not be bad. What did I give you before? I gave you heat metal. Gave you... I don't remember. Alright, either way, I should do Entangle, probably Fairy Fire. Fog Cloud? Alright, I gotta pick a bunch of other shit. Alright, we'll do this one, this one. Sure, I'll give you Dominate Beast. Ice Knife. Alright.
Direct me.
things have stayed interesting. Moving in.
All right, how can I heal? How am I gonna heal myself? First things first, where's the chest? Oh, there it is.
No traps, please.
Alright, what shoes do you have? You have once per turn when you use dash, you gain Wraith for 2 turns. Swap that shit out. You can fly now. This one's not very good. And the Ring of Dominate Beast. Don't know who to give that to. Long Sword of the Emperor. Oh, man. Oh, this is heavy armor. Oh. Damn, I'm gonna have a lot of money to make. Although I don't think I'm gonna be able to make a whole lot with these fireworks. I don't know how I'm gonna use those for combat. I'll find a way. Or maybe I won't. Maybe they'll just sit in my inventory forever. Wouldn't that be exciting? What do I have in the backpack? Oh. Don't really need this. And not in these. Pedro. I should sell this actually. Pedro. Sorry, I just closed my inventory and now I'm just reopening it again. Let me eat that dude from existence. Alright, 3 potions of greater healing. 2 Gale.
At the ready.
Perfect.
Let's move.
I think I'm gonna have that supreme healing. What is this? 10? Oh yeah, this will. I need to do math actually. Will this bring me? This would bring me back to full, but it's not actually necessary. Or is it? 60. Yeah. Wait. This would not bring me back to full. I'll drink it anyway. This one's 20. What the small ones? The small ones are 10. Yeah, that works. Are we done here? Yes. Sick. I don't have to use a single fucking... I just noticed I haven't used a single short rest all day.
Awful.
We're doing great. In terms of resources. Alright. I mean, Gale's out of resources, but that's a different story. Still doing good. Oh wait, this isn't even the entrance to the fucking library. I need to save when I get up to that fucking you know? The why are there dead bodies here? Was I not supposed to see that? Oh. That's the fireworks shop. I was just there. Oh, a dog. Wait, no, that's a cat.
I need a quick word.
Hi.
Hold, Seeker. Have you come to swear yourself to Sharess by my paw?
Yes.
Yes, yes. Together we shall spread the word of the wonder in her every paw step. I will sing her name in the streets, and you will bring her prayers to those suffering 2 legs instead of 4.
Praise Sharess. I love it.
Let me back in. I'll bring Leroican out here, you tin tube.
Yeah, you want to get in.
You went looking for the night song after me. Please tell me you found it.
I found the night song. Turns out I wasn't a relic. He was an Asimir.
And
then he's like,
don't forget, I'm the one who gave
I
you
want
that
it.
contract. I want my cut.
What if I just tell him, like, reasonably, like, why he would not be able to kidnap her?
Immortal, eh? Interesting. Won't be easy getting her back to the wizard. But if you don't do it, someone else will. Hope you hid her well, mate.
Ah, great. I need to deal with that asshole. I was gonna say, but I'm gonna wait. Hello.
Welcome. I am
Yeah.
you're a city official here.
Trade.
You're sure to find what you're looking for.
You've got quick spell gloves. Give me that. And the staff. The fuck's a staff? Oh, there it is. Give to Gale. A hat of charisma +2 is kind of crazy for bards.
Such authority.
Wait a minute. Oh, these are gloves of scorching ray. I forgot I gave these to you. Hmm. Actually, I'm gonna send these to camp. Don't know who I want to give that to yet. You don't have a bow. Now you do. It's a good bow too.
Welcome back to learn more about the knight. Master Leroican is.
I'm just going through all the dialogue that I went through.
Because Master Leroican is engaged in important work, I take care of such banal.
Bookseller. She can point us to the tome I need.
Hello, I'm going through the dialogue that I went through before.
Can I help you? These books, between, they're locked away here for it. Great, that's it.
The annals of Carsus would no doubt have much to say about.
Consider yourself lucky to have learned of such a book's existence, and then forget about it. The annals of Carsus are best left unread.
Persuasion?
Custom. The only way to gain access to the vault is through my office.
Monday? Fine. Your name is Tolna. Okay.
Very efficient you'd be.
Looking for Tolna's office now. Alright. Save. 96 hours in. Jesus.
Welcome, if you have.
Blah, blah, blah. Alright, well, we're not doing orange this time. I just noticed there's plaques. I was supposed to read these.
The Night Song is a priceless ruby from a realm beyond our own. The Night Song is an immortal being, the child of a deity.
Oh my god.
The Night Song is an ancient potion that allows its drinker to become irresistibly attractive to man and god alike. The Night Song is a druidic staff that allows its bearer command over an army of ancient beasts.
Hmm. Alright.
Hold very still, Nicklaw. Craig's aim is much improved, but still leaves something up to chance.
Yes, sir.
All right, Craig. Ready? Aim. We have a visitor. At ease. McClaw, you may go.
Hello.
I see no night song. Surely you wouldn't have entered my tower without the night song in hand? Surely you wouldn't have wasted my time?
What do you want with her?
Her. Fascinating. You've been to Shah's temple, haven't you? To the Shadowfell?
You speak as if though you've seen the Night Song yourself.
Alas, I've paid for a good deal of very privileged information. Now I await the results of the generous contract I've commissioned. Answer now, or see what happens when fools misuse my valuable time.
Just tell me why you want her. Like, dude, come on.
I'm growing tired of this repartee, my friend. Let us cut to the chase. Beautiful, isn't it? Worth more than your life, too. I bought it from a Kalashite warlock. There's very little of his soul left to him. It can bind a celestial to the wearer's service with a snap of the fingers. And this can keep her in place. Forever.
He's just standing there, menacingly.
I'm debating what to respond with because this guy's clearly fucking insane. Save? Oh, you're so fucking right. Alright, let me guess. Just like Ketherick, you want to become immortal? Use her power?
It didn't work out for poor Ketherick, did it? He was a fool. A desperate mercenary who poured out his soul to whichever god flattered him. I serve no god, but that which stares back at me in the mirror. The Night Song will be put to a grand purpose, equalizing man and god. Whoever helps me attain that which I seek will be greatly rewarded.
There's more to divinity than lifespan. Ensnaring an immortal won't make you a god.
Of course not. But perhaps, after enough lifetimes, I might make a start of it.
He would seek the power of gods for the pettiest of reasons. His own gratification. At least I seek them for the better of all.
What's that? I didn't quite catch the words, but the insolent tone was clear enough.
Pitying, not insolent. You chase one power without knowing an even greater one lies within my reach. The crown of Karsus. Once we acquire it, your ambitions will be dwarfed. I'll be able to stand against Mystra and wrest her powers from her for the betterment of all.
The crown of Karsus? Nonsense. Even if it still existed, you couldn't possibly handle its power.
Perhaps you could not. But Netherill's power is in my blood. And Mystra? I know her in ways that most mortals can only dream of.
Ah, so it is you. Mystra's discarded lapdog. And now you think your bark is cause to make me tremble?
There is no need for me to bark. My actions will speak for themselves. In time.
Then go. Act. I'll open a fine vintage in your name once word of your failure reaches me.
How can the background guys are glowy? He's got like particles all over the room. Maybe he's got a spell going on in here. Yeah, but the dirty mage is not. It's a room effect. I don't think it's a active spell. Also, you're right. He is dirty. How do I clean? Is there a way to clean yourself in this game? Could someone look that up for me? Do I have to buy a bar of soap? Find an inn and take a bath? That's my assumption. But I don't know if that would be... I don't know if that's actually the case. Considering I have a camp. Yeah, you'd think I'd be able to take a bath at the camp. Alright, well, I see this ending in one or two ways. I have to kill him. I was not prepared for this kind of level of fight. Or was I? Because Gale has no spell slots. And if I'm going in to fight this guy, I'm gonna need counterspell. Shit. Google says there's a small pool at camp behind Withers. You can stand under the waterfall. Ah, that's... The waterfall is in the earlier... that's in the Act 1 camp. I'm in the Act 3 camp. Ugh. Maybe if I have someone learn create water and I can bathe them, that might not be a bad idea. I would have to get someone to learn it though. I mean, probably Jahira. Or apparently any source of water, including create water, can do it. Yeah, create water. Figured. I'll figure that out later. Oh. I could say I'll tell her to come here just to give her the satisfaction of ripping her to shreds, because if I can have her help me fight him, but actually it probably would not be a good idea to have her even anywhere near, remotely near this guy, considering the fact that I mean, he has a device that can fucking control her. I feel like if anything, getting her to back me up in the fight would just end up going the opposite way, and he's gonna get her to fight me. All right, I might just fight you. But I need you, don't I? Hang on, can I check my game, my fucking... If I go to character select and I go to Gale. No, because we're all here. Because I'm thinking to myself, do I need Leroykin alive? He is a powerful mage. Damn. Gil has no spell slots, but he has spell scrolls up the wazoo. It would just come down. I need counterspell. All right, how about this? We're restarting the conversation. There is a way I can get Gale all his spell slots back, but it's gonna come at the cost of one of my rarer resources. But I mean, I guess that's what they're for, right? Because I am pretty convinced I could beat the shit out of him. I just need counterspell, because I mean, why would you not want counterspell on a mage, right? Or when going up against a mage.
Ready and willing.
What is this? Oh, quick spell. I forgot about that. Alright. First things first. You top off. Potion of angelic slumber. Sleep. Alright, well.
No time to rest.
While he sleeps. Split item. Give to Astarion.
Don't touch me.
Ooh, actually, Astarion is actually a great person to fight for him. And Jaheira, I have a lot of shit that stops mage. This is a good mage fighting team. Oh yeah, you have Sleet Storm ready. All right, good.
Still breathing, despite everything.
Yeah, I literally don't have to do anything except just stand in front of him. Which is what I'm gonna do.
What now?
Alright, how you looking? Oh yeah, all your spell slots are back. Ooh, and you can do all your new shit. Or you can do spiritual weapon. Nice. I should have you cast Blur more often. You know what I should have you do actually? Learn better level 6 spells. Do you have all your scrolls? You do. And I've got money. Granted, not a whole lot.
Lovely day this. For now.
First things first. Let's expand your list. Alright, now I need gold.
Still alive, so that's progress. Very well.
Alright. Who has items in their inventory? Who doesn't have items? Jaheira. Alright. Here's what I'm gonna do. Go back to camp. Go to my box. My boxy box. My boxerino. And there are sponges, looks like it. Sponges, huh? Gotta be on the lookout for a sponge. Don't know where I would find one. Hmm. 2d6 plus 5 plus 1d4. Is this good? I remember, yeah, the reason I held on to this is because I couldn't tell if these were good. Or, well, like, correction, I know these are good, but I just didn't want to sell them just yet. Didn't know what to do with them. I've got so many parasites. I have look at how many parasites I have. I just remembered I have another one. Add it to the pile. Wait, no. Value. Wait, what do I have in my alchemy pouch that's so expensive? Whoa. Damn, this shit's worth money. Oh, it's literally just all my alchemy shit. Considering the fact that I don't craft. How do you craft? You can craft in this game. I completely forgot that that's a thing. H. I have never seen this menu in my life. Suspicions? Vitriols? Salts, sublimates. Coatings. Oh, I see. Excuse me. Wait, well, I don't really know how to make anything. What was it doing again? Right. Should I sell my? You know what? Maybe I will. I'm gonna sell all my fucking crafting things because I don't need them. Actually, I should be selling all my shit to the armorer. Their weapon person.
Seems like a good moment to talk.
Need something for defense? Or maybe offense? Either way, I've got what you need.
Oh, nice. You got money. And I sold you a bunch of random shit earlier. Alright, well, I mostly just have daggers. Let's get rid of all the fucking books. Get rid of these. Get rid of some of the rest of this shit that I don't need. Nice. Dagger +2. When you let a critical hit, just does 7 damage. I think I am gonna sell you. Sword of the Emperor. I think I'm also gonna sell this. Yeah, I think I should probably sell those weapons that I had back there. I don't think I need a dagger +2, considering what I've already got. Oh, wait a minute. What else did I have?
At your command.
Because I just remembered, this thing could be swapped. Oh, well, it's not like I ever have you really casting spells or doing melee. Talking to myself. It's alright. What does your thing even do? Melee caster. Instead of its dexterity modifier, the affected entity adds its spell casting ability modifier to attack rolls. Oh wait, that is actually pretty good. Damn. Oh. Cause don't you have like a +8? Oh. Wow. Alright, let's solve the rest of this. Actually, I might not have enough. Or she might not have enough. Oh no, well. Now she's out of money. Damn, this is worth 6,000 gold. Oh, no. Alright, now you're out of money.
Trades boom.
Armor man.
Don't be shy. This armor can't keep you alive if it's sitting here with me.
No one here has enough money.
Whatever it takes.
Medium armor of 17. Armor of agility. Hmm. This would actually be good for Astarion if I had ever gotten him to equip medium.
Yes.
Salutations.
This is a 10, this is a light 14, medium 17. Ooh, I'll take that shield +1 though. That's really the only thing of value that you have. Yeah, alright. Oh, but that does give me more money now. Nice. Here's the real question too, though. Who do I give the +1 shield to? That's the real question. Shadowheart, maybe? She still uses light or medium. My other option would be Gale. But I like his. I like that his. Well, no, I should probably give it to Gale. The fact that he has shield bash though is really good. Because that's, I think, like the only like reaction thing that he can do. And it has come in clutch a few times. Or at least until I can find a shield +1 that has shield bash. Because that, like I said, that is actually very, very, very useful. Lets him cast Fire Shield for free. Not that I ever really used that. Thinking. Alright, well, either way, I'm done here.
Truth.
Truth. Truth. Truth. Oh, and I have money now, so I can. Oh no, right? You've got this one. Yeah, it is looking like Gale is the one. If not Gale, then probably Halcyon whenever I get him back. Because I don't want to give it to Chihira. She already has a really high AC. Well, I guess I could make it higher. Because I want to... It would be better to up Gale's AC. This would give Chihira bash.
You have my attention.
What is Fire Shield? What I don't like is that this doesn't really last super long amount of time. Yeah, alright, I'll swap. Not like I was ever using that ability on him anyway. And that means Jaheira gets Shield Bash. Yeah, now his AC is 17. Still want it to be higher though. Whatever, he can learn spells now. Where was I? Thought he just learns Fire Shield, Lamau. Oh, no, no, no. I've been lined. Meow. And I'm rainbowed. How could this happen? Alright. Ow! Having fun with your redeems there. Oh, I missed the hat. Don't hit my hat. It's fragile. What was I doing again? I've completely forgotten.
Call and I answer.
What do you know, Jaheira? You have right. You have all this. You have all that. Okay. Alright, we're done here. There is one thing we could do if we really want to like overkill this fight. We could do Hero's Feast. Sure. Thoroughly stuffed.
Never a dull moment.
The affected entity is immune to diseases, poisons, and being frightened. It makes all wisdom saving throws, it makes all wisdom saving throws with advantage. And its hit point maximum is increased by 12. Nice. All right, let's go kill a mage, I guess. Wait, I don't need that. I just double confirming. I don't need him alive. No, I do not. All right. He's gonna die. He's gonna die. Oh, he is gonna die. I should save.
Well, if you
Hey.
let your
Blah, 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 blah. What do you want with her? Blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna pick the same dialogue options I picked before.
What happens when fools misuse my and this can keep her in place. The night song will be put to a grand of course.
He would.
What?
Once we are.
The crap.
There is no need.
Then go. Axe. I'll open a fine vintage in your name once word of your failure reaches me.
Attack. Oh my god, he's surrounded by elementals. Oh great, I have to kill his assistant too. Of course he's surrounded by elementals. Earth elemental, water elemental, crank, air elemental, fire elemental, and the assistant. Wonderful. Alright, Jahira, what do you have? What do you have that's like awesome? That's level, you already used your level 6, right? Okay, so level 5. What do you have? What do I give you for level 5? Oh, we can give our own elementals. Actually, that's sick. Yeah. Alright, who do we want? Ooh. Oh, there are more at higher levels. Oh. Water elemental, fire elemental, earth elemental, air elemental. I'm gonna have the give me the fire elemental and I'll have him go against the earth elemental. We're playing Pokemon. Grasping Vine? Oh. Yes, actually. Shit. Because I need that elemental to not be in my face. Halo of Spores. Unleash a cloud of necrotic spores on a target. Uses a reaction so other reactions won't trigger this turn. No. Okay. Well, Jahira, you have finished your turn. I should have you run away. No, you've got a good enough AC. I'm gonna keep you around, but we should not be bunched up together.
Into position.
I miss this.
All right, Lorcan, give me your rundown. AC of 15, that's nothing. You've got 98 health, that's nothing. Mage armor, earth siphon, immunity to poison, immunity to lightning, fire, ice. Okay, I actually just have to beat the shit out of you. I think Asterion being here is actually great. Arcane enchantment, elemental retort. When attacked, the affected entity can draw on siphon to magic to cast elemental retort. Elemental siphon, empowered evocation. Cantrip, sculpt spells, create pockets of safety within your invocation spells. Allies automatically succeed. Spell resistance. Okay, yeah, your whole deal is magic. In that case. For this one, we're going to do, for this turn, if we just need to survive turn 1, because turn 2, I mean, the magic motherfucker's going to do some crazy shit, but it's okay. It's worth it for the setup. Accuracy. Silence. Nice. I silenced him. Damn it. I actually already almost just killed him with a Starion. That's so fucking hilarious. Alright, Astarion, take the high ground.
Let's go.
Missing. One thing I am worried about is Gale being so close to me. Oh. Wait, why are you not silenced anymore? Whatever. You hit the vine. Elemental warp. Surrounded by silver mist, you can teleport to an unoccupied space you see. Wild. Erupting Sunder. Cinder. Stroke. Damn, this thing's kind of has a lot of health, actually. Can I see you? What you do? I'm an AC of 13, though. Multi-attack. Yeah, just beat up this guy. You did no damage.
Never a dull moment.
Oh, that's because I have all the fucking elementals next to me. Hmm. Well, ain't this some shit? I should sunbeam, but I can't. Can I numb you? Could I numb all of my targets? What is your guys' deal? You have an oh my god, you have ACs of 18? Oh, I think Astarion has elemental arrows, actually. Where he's actually going to be the key player of this fucking game. Can I arrow Mr. No, I can't. I can arrow this guy. Sorry, buddy. Smack. Scream. Oh, it worked. Can you dimension? Yeah, that's right. You can dimension door for free. Awesome. I might not need it though. Or will I? Considering the fact that this guy's almost dead, I might just go. I might just straight up go for this guy. Right? What else have we got? Freezing sphere. That would be good if. Can you? You can be knocked down. Oh no, because he's resistant to everything in my mother. I should not hit him with any spells then. I need to have Gale just fight shit. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, spiritual weapon. Oh shit, I forgot about that. Great axe. Great sword, halberd, maul, spear, trident. Is there a difference? No, they're all 3d8 plus 3. Let me get the halberd. Oh, I can have it right in front of him. Yes. That's awesome. Oh, and he goes like right next. Okay, that's awesome. And that's just my bonus action, dude. Nice. What else can I do around here? I can conjure another elemental. Ooh, actually, that might not be a terrible idea. We could have this be elemental battle. Ooh, I get stronger ones at higher level. The low level this thing. Oh wait, no, yeah, wait, because it starts at level 5. I get air, earth, fire, and water, and then at level 6 I get air, earth, fire, and water. But I'm guessing these are stronger ones. Air elementals, and oh yeah, these summon Myrmidions? Myrmidion? I don't know what that is. Alright, which one did I want? I already summoned a fire one. Wait, who's in front of me? I have a water, I have a fire, and I have an air. Earth? I'm gonna summon an earth. I don't have the space. Actually, I might just use this turn to get Gale out of that spot. Yeah, probably do that and then do the elemental. Oh, and Jahir's turn is soon, so I can get a zombie up too, because of the dead guy. Oh, look at me thinking with my thinking brain. Yeah, because I for sure cannot get an elemental in this space. Oh, wait. I can squeeze him in over there. Oh. Yeah, alright. Let's do that. Quick spell cantrip. What can I do for a cantrip? Friends, Vicious Mockery, Mage Hand, Blade Ward, Bone Shell. What do? You have a trident. You have a sword. Wait, but you're numbed. Your movement speed is halved. Yeah, fuck it. Give me a free cantrip. Oh wait, no. Because that's one of those things. All right. Why are you dashing? Oh god, you just gave him stone skin. Great, nice, an AC of 15. I can still hit that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Fuck. Who's this? This is the Earth Elemental. Okay, who do we have? Sludgy Sling. Overwhelm creatures with... that's 3 AoE. Muck to Metal. Harden your slippery body into a substance like steel, increasing your armor class by 2, but reducing your movement speed by 6. I might actually do that. Burrow. Let the ground swallow you up, only to re-emerge in a terrific burst of earth, damaging nearby foes. Alright, let's do Muck to Metal. That's so cool. And this is actually a terrible move. How big is this AoE? That's kind of big. The alternative would be to take the element of the spiritual weapon, move him away. I don't even have to move him away, I can just move him behind. Elemental warp over here. And then do your thing. He's about to come. Oh my god, elemental retort is crazy. What is that? Hold on. That's a level 5. Damn, bro. Lamau, no, you're not. Alright, they're probably gonna beat up Gale now. Sweet. Chihiro, what do you have? Is this fungal infestation? This is a reaction. Really? What is the range on this? Oh, very small. Oh no. Alright, what could I do then? Call lightning, I guess. I could upcast my call lightning. Oh no, wait a minute. I'm a silly goober. What is this? Elemental. Right. Where is it? Where is it? Did I not give you planar binding? Fuck, I didn't give you planar binding. Fuck! That would have been awesome. Alright, fine. Just give me another elemental then. Water, fire, earth, air. Give me. Give me air, I guess, right? Sure. Oh, he's entangled. That's fine. I don't think Clank has gone once yet, right? Dang. Debating to myself how I want to go about this with your bonus action. What else do you have? Right, Halo of Spores. I'll just move you. Asterion! You can do Asterion things. Why do I have disadvantage? I should have advantage because I have high ground. Actually, so I should be able to freely jump. Because I do not want to risk. Yes, 95%. Nice! Woo! Like I said, 2 turns and I could kill the mage. Alright, now Astarion just has to fucking snipe all the elementals. Oh boy. Nice. You used elemental warp on the Rorican? She's dead. What? Oh, to get his body? Oh god, don't tell me you can resuscitate him. I'm gonna counterspell the shit out of that. I gotta fight these fuckers.
Death is but a word away.
What have I got? I've got blight. Can I blight you? No. You're resistant to poison. But not necrotic. There's a difference between poison and necrotic. Okay, I'm gonna blight you. Blight this guy. Alright, we're all fighting now. Everyone's fighting. I can't make him lacerate. So trigger attack of opportunity. Alright, we're fine. Alright, good damage. Oh, you missed! Fight Fairy Fire. How big is that AoE? I can almost get everyone. I can't get Clank. I can just get the elementals. Fuck it, do it. Wait, did that just fairy fire us? Wait, that's actually a terrible idea. Oops. All targets within. Okay, I fucked up. I have fucked up. Actually, no, that's not entirely true. It's not entirely true. What is this? 2d6. Yeah, no, just do this one. You're about to do Hellish Rebuke. He can take it. I didn't do any damage. What? I'm reading up on his stuff. I don't know what he does.
War is an old woman's game.
Let's spill some blood.
Is Clank's AC high? Yeah, it is. Figured. He's, I mean, a literal, you know, a walking suit of armor. Oh, wait. Elemental arrows. I only have 2. Great. Fuck. Did that hurt him? Did that do good damage? Oh god, it didn't kill him though. I want this fire elemental dead.
For the fallen.
Alright, get rid of your fair fire. This is a good fight. This is a good fight. Everyone has someone to fight. This dude's fighting this guy. I'm fighting this guy. This dude's fighting this guy. This dude's fighting that guy. That dude's fighting this guy. And then Asterian's just kind of there sniping. This is good. I like this. This is cinematic. Just I gotta beat up this air element. I should beat up the fire one actually. Whatever. They're both hurt.
What fools these mortals be.
Jump. You get out of there. I could conjure another elemental, but I don't think that would be a good idea. Haste? I could haste in someone. Haste in Asterian, probably. Yeah, I don't really have any, like, good single target things, right? Oh, I had a scroll of planar binding this whole time. That's so funny. Yeah, haste Asterian. Oh, he's out of sight. What do you mean he's out of sight? Too far. Bro. You've got to be kidding me right now. Right, meow. What do I do? I don't know, bone chill? Oh, if I burning hands, I get. Oh, well, no, you're literally a fire elemental. Of course, you're resistant to fire. Underwave? 2d8, winning ray. Damn, you really don't have anything. I could fireball something. No, do the scroll of planar binding. Who do I want? The earth elemental or the water elemental? Give me the water elemental. Did I just claim him? Is he mine? Yes, let's go. Nice.
May the dice roll in my favor.
That's pretty awesome. Oh my god, he's going for Gale. Oh, he succeeded the Constitution. Goated. Why can you not burrow? Oh, it's because you mucked to mettled. Can you undo that? No, that's 4 turns. Alright, well, keep eating up crank, I guess. Clank, crank, whatever. Can you fly? How far can you fly? Not super far. You got like no movement speed. You can hasten yourself. Oh, great. Mm-mm-mm. Blight. I can blight this one. I can get him off me. I can't see that one. Yeah, do it. Ah, fuck, you rolled so low. Fungal infection. Now we have, it's the battle of summons. There's a fucking super Pokemon over here. Why does it keep doing that? I should have had you multi-attack. That's fine.
Hungry for the slaughter.
You can just melee attack this guy. Oh, he lived with 2 HP. Oh, did you just kill him? Nice. Whoa. Oh, because I don't play as him. The AI plays as him. Damn, dude just froze him. I didn't even know you could do that. There's some elemental shit here. I had no idea. Yeah, we gotta beat up this guy now. Can I help Asterion?
I need to find a way forward.
Hooray! You're welcome.
Let me recite their demise. Rook to Queen 6.
It's just this guy. What's your deal? AC of 20. Yeah, you did your steal thing. Just fire then, right? Either that or vicious mockery. No, because I can't vicious mockery. You have area of effect attacks. Yawn. I don't know. Here, take this. Now you've got a high defense. I don't know. Thunder wave from range. Wounding rays. Fuck it. Grounded Thunderstrike. Wait, I could have been doing that the whole time. Wow, that's so much more effective. because there's fucking mud everywhere. I can't hit shit around here. Try and beat him up. Oh my god, nice. What can I have you do that lowers AC? Nothing. Light again? Nah, too. Why am I attacking at disadvantage? There we go. Damn.
The dance macabre.
Elemental arrow! Damn, that just did all his health. Oh my god! You can do that? I'm so happy I dominated the water motherfucker. Oh, he's so dead. Oh my god, please, 3 health? 2 health? Are you serious?
No gloom, all doom.
Wait, no.
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
I don't fancy their chances.
Ignis. Okay, great. There's my elemental weapon. Beat him up. Yay. This isn't all fun and games though. One of us isn't. Yeah, this guy's gonna attack us when planar binding is over. But we should kill him. we have to kill the water elemental. I'm sorry. He's extraordinarily friendly and helpful, but fortunately he must die.
I think you can take me on.
I missed. Oh yeah, planar binding's over. Okay. Everyone gang up on him. Fairy fire. Can I stand over here and try flourish? Nice.
Let's have some fun. Let's find some.
Let me guess, he's gonna teleport. Whoa.
Gone with the weave.
Now he won.
Quite exhausted. A good night's sleep would do me wonders.
That was an awesome fight. We have so many spellcasters, it really just turned into like our boys versus their boys. We got an air elemental up, we got an earth dude doing things. And I get to fucking loot this guy. What you got? Better be some cool shit. Shelter of Athkatla. You have advantage on saving throws against spells. Ooh, spell resistance, and I get to cast a Barrier Image for free. Oh, this is so totally going to Gale. This is some great Gale shit. What is this? A staff. Gain +1 bonus to spell save DC and spell attack rolls. That's it? Lame. Actually, this is actually an incredibly lame staff. What the fuck? That staff is garbage. Cool. Very, very nice wizard looking robes. Nice. Alright. Book throne. I sit. That dude really made himself a throne of books. Can I loot the books?
One day I'll catch a break.
I want... Whoa, whoa, let's check out this tower. Sick. Ramazith's tower. This is sick. See all of Baldur's Gate. There's no loot around here, is there?
Let's have a look.
Scroll. No, all the bookcases are sealed. Damn. Alright, well, we're out of here.
Better not be cursed.
Does that mean the other guys... No, no, he's still alive.
Welcome back, dear patron. Remember that the great wizard doesn't suffer fools who waste his time. Let your knowledge determine your path forward.
I'm actually glad the projections don't disappear because this guy is actually a great trader. He sells some really good shit. Oh wait, I need to get the book from that lady. This shit's all right.
Careful, I bite. Subtle steps.
Looking ahead.
Let's have some fun.
All's well that ends. Not as bad as it could have.
Let's keep your hands deep.
Ah, great.
Just out of view. Breathe deep and move.
Whose door is this then?
I don't need any attention right now. Don't waste a step.
I need to make him look away. Thanks.
Don't mind if I do.
Okay, everyone, run!
Waste a step.
You don't have permission to be here.
Ah, great.
You're about to be ejected.
All right, I'll leave.
If not over, then through.
We need to all sneak in. Which is not possible because we have elementals. And I don't want to dismiss them. I think Asterian's just gonna have to go in for a solo mission.
Let's go.
Alright, what do we got? Basement chest key. Officious note. Read. I'm hungry. How long have I been going? 7 hours. I might end soon. I'm hungry. We've made good progress. I've essentially I spent this whole damn stream finishing everything I started at first, but you know what? We finished it. I finished it all, and I'm about to finish fucking Gale's thingy thing. I'm gonna grab the thing here for Gale. Although yeah, that note just said that all the books are in the basement, so we gotta go to the basement. I don't know where the fuck the basement is though. Fuck, I'll steal it. Note from Vompter. Who Vompter? If you refuse to speak to me following the incident with the three-eyed man, I have no choice but to make my request in writing. Master Larkin instructs you to bring in a newly acquainted lamp. His newly acquainted lamp, the one with the digit into the vault, and store it behind the protective wall. It's far too dangerous to be left on display in the shop proper. Oh my god, is it another lamp? It's another one of those fucking lamps. Just when I thought I was done with this fucking thing. Me oh my oh me, I can hear it, I can hear it. Get out of my head.
How about this?
Clasped book? Oh. Ah, great. We're all gonna need to go down here. But I've kind of got a whole elemental. All right, Astarion, you're actually on a solo mission. I should give you. Hang on. Take a potion of invisibility. Take 2. Because you might need it. Whoa! Oh, that's a good autosave.
What's in here?
Time to start looting. Spell scrolls.
Storage and sorting of scrollwork, parchment, and tomes.
Ooh.
What's that?
Ooh. What have we got? Oh, you sneaky little fuck. Good find. Melikar's ledger? Bunch of shit.
Very well then.
Posted scrolls. It is no secret that yours is the finest collection of records within our fair city. This scroll brings you a query I believe only you can resolve. It has been a long-held bit of lore within my family that we are descendants of L'Oreal Silverhand through my mother's line, though no existing genealogy can confirm our claim. Would you be so kind as to investigate the matter? It would mean a great deal to my grandmother Haverfrost, who is poorly at the minute. The family name is Graydell. Oh, Scroll of Sunbeam. Alright, well, let's see what's behind the regular door before I go over there.
Time for discretion.
Oh.
Move unseen. Quietly.
Solo mission Astarion. Solo mission Astarion. Solo mission Astarion. He is the rogue after all. Boba Newt. Hi, Newt. Well, if it ain't the newtiest of newts. The Newtacular Newt.
A trap. Someone doesn't like visitors. A trap. Someone doesn't like visitors.
Whole lot of traps. Gas pit. Alright, well, this seems to go deeper in. Before I go in there.
Over here.
I'm gonna go over here. I shouldn't be surprised that a mage has his mage secrets trapped. What I figured is that they would be magically trapped, not gas chamber trapped. How you doing, Boba Newt? How are you? How's the Newt day? Having a Newtful day? Spell scrolls.
Oh, for a skeleton key.
What is that? The Red Knight's final stratagem? Yo, stratagems? Fucking what? Now this I gotta see. It looks cursed. That looks cursed. Let's not read it. Let's just pick it up. Let's just pocket it. I sure hope I don't end up regretting this. Alright, let's go through the other place now.
What have we here?
The Red Knight's final stratagem. What the fuck that be? First things first. Nice. I am incapable of rolling lower than a 12. I would have to nat 1 in order to fail these. Even then, I'll just inspire myself so that I don't gas myself. I would rather not. Just vibing? Nice.
My. A vault like this must be hiding something valuable.
Wait, all these dorms are named. Ramazith, Karsus, Silverhand, Eleminster. I don't know Dungeons and Dragons lore that deep. Ramazith? What did the other door have a name? No, that one was just said it was top secret. What does this say? Just a restricted area?
No entry to vaults. Trespassers will be disintegrated. Master Leroican.
Uh-oh. I don't like that. Let's try Eleminster. Locked. Alright. Lockpicking impossible. I'm gonna need I need the lockpicking spell, right? Alright, let's see what Silverhand has.
A trap. Someone doesn't like visitors.
Oh. Oh. Let's get rid of these. This is really a fucking one-stop shop, huh? Because just if I mean, like, I've only got one attempt at this. I should save, actually. Hang on. Because Asterion has less than 100 health, and if I get hit with disintegration, like that warning sign said, he might actually get one-shot and just straight up die. Evocation, transmutation, abjuration. I don't fucking know. Evocation? Oh, I don't like that. It's a puzzle and I don't know what the answer is. Wish, foresight, invulnerability, gate. Dude, I don't know. Also, I can see what the traps are. Gate, invulnerability? I'm going invulnerability. Oh, thank God. Can I leave? I need help. I need my teammates. I think we're done with combat. right? No, because it's. Can I? Here's what I'm gonna do. Okay. Actually, I don't actually need to go into the portal. I'm gonna have a Starion wait here. Lou. I can go ahead and sneak in there. Oh, I need everyone to not follow me.
All right, time to skulk about.
Hey, what's up?
Best get in and out.
What does that mean? Oh. Alright, Gale. Can I have the elementals wait? There's no way I can't just command them to wait, right? Toggle summon grouping? Does that mean I can walk away now? Oh yeah. Alright, we'll just have them wait out here. They're like pets.
Cannot always go in plain sight.
Alright. Oh, the elementals are here. Okay. Well, we're all here now.
Wizard, not a cat burglar.
I mean, either way, they should wait here anyway, in case.
Of course.
All right, Gale. What do you make? What do you make of this place? I should save.
A curious vault. Given what is sold freely above, it must be quite a thing they keep under lock and key below.
Knock is the spell that lets me open things, right? How do I learn? I don't think I know knock. Do you think they sell it upstairs? Yeah, I don't have it. No idea.
I've got a long road ahead.
Ramazeth, Karsus, Silverhand.
Don't touch me.
Alright, well, can only go through Silverhand. Abjuration was a trap. Illusion? Transmutation. Oh, they're all... Right? Illusion doesn't take me back, right? Does Illusion take me back? Illusion does take me back. The elementals are here anyway. Alright, whatever. They can stick around. Illusion. Which one did I pick last time? Abjuration? Evocation I picked last time. Alright, let's do transmutation. That was incorrect. Oh, maybe it was abjuration. Because that led me deeper in. Let's try abjuration. I just need to disable all the traps.
Someone's left a trap out for us.
Just need to disable all the traps.
Be careful. There are traps about.
Oh god, they're starting. Everyone stop. If you could all. Fucking hell, you guys are so annoying. I'm so glad I saved. Wait, did I not save? Oh god, I forgot to save with everyone sneaking in. Fine, I'll just sneak everyone back in. I hate the AI pathing. It's so easy to just not stand in the way, but they do. Actually, if this might be the case, then I actually don't think I need to bring in everyone. I can just have Astarion just continue doing his solo mission. Yeah, what was the answer? Abjuration? No, wait. Evocation.
Let's see. There are traps about.
Oh, they're different elements. Alright, we have Wish, Foresight, Invulnerability, Gate. Wish is a spell. Gate, I don't know what that means. Invulnerability? Force? I don't know. We're just gonna guess. Well, it can't be invulnerability because the icon on the minimap says it shows that brings us back. Oop. I think it was a cookie. Thank you. Force? Oh, well. Can't be Wish. Oh, look at that.
Traps.
Oh, fuck me. Wonderful. Were those disintegration rays? Holy shit. Those were definitely disintegration rays. Alright, what do we have?
Unlock hereby the path to the Elminster Vault.
Is that it? It just close?
Unlock hereby the path to the Elminster Vault.
How much you want to bet there's multiple levers? Alright, well. Let's try foresight. Oh, I see. Alright, what's in the Elminster Vault? Haven't found the Karsus Vault. Oh, this is an entirely other area.
Certainly.
First things first. Loot.
Should be easy.
And a special book. The The what? The Tharchiate Codex. Cool. Pocket. How many more lockpicks do I have? I might... Oh boy, I've only got 2. Okay. Well, if anything, I can always just go back to Lou for more. Oh, is that it? That's disappointing. Okay. Well, I got another special book. Let's try another place. Where have I not gone? Have I gone to Abjuration yet? I have not.
Someone doesn't like visitors.
Ow. Ow. How'd you take 0 damage from that? It's not wild. Oh, wait.
Trap.
Wait.
How considerate.
Almost happened again.
Be careful. There are traps about.
There goes the rogue.
A trap.
Doing
Some
rogue
doesn't like
things.
visitors.
Doing rogue things. Doing rogue things. To Karsus.
Unlock hereby the path to the Karsus Vault.
Nice. What does the other doors do? Shadow? Oh, that just takes me back over here. Let's try Abjuration again. Try Demon. No. Alright, well, that's fine. Now we've actually got things. Styrian does not have a whole lot of carrying capacity though, so this is going to be a heavy haul. Loot, loot. Loot, loot, loot. Got a gold chalice, the Annals of Karsus.
A book on Netherese magic. Gale might like to know.
Scroll of Dethrone. Mangus be warned. It is a great paradox amongst our kinds who so value the art of learning that we believe ourselves ever cannier than the ones who came before. If envy is a disease is the disease of the artist, hubris is that of the wizard. Though I fear my warnings will fall on deaf ears, I will say it again. The closer the wizard creeps to the domain of the divine, the closer oblivion creeps with him. I thought myself an equal to Mystra, and devised a plan to make myself her equal. I would pluck one strand of weave and contain it within an amulet I spent the better portion of my years devising. How regret instantly heaved itself upon my head. I was trapped within the amulet instantaneously, and passed around from collector to curio hall for the better part of a millennium. Only now that I am freed with barely the strength to hold my quill, I can leave this final warning as a testimony. Alright, Asterion. Phenomenal job. That's the rogue. Why is this box glitching out? What the fuck? Hello, it is I, Asterion. Nothing badly has happened at all whatsoever. Alright. What are we done here? Let's check around. For the most part, we're kind of done with all this shit here. Alright, next stream is going to be the Murder Cult HQ, maybe Cazador's Palace, or the Steel Watch Foundry. Probably do Cazador's place, but I do want to beat up the Murder Cult. All right, let's go back to camp.
Wonder if the gods are watching me. Just what I need.
What's up, Gale?
The Annals of Karsus. The preamble to a civilization's downfall, committed to parchment by the very hand that wrought its destruction. If the crown atop the Elder Brain was truly forged by Karsus himself, this book will confirm it. All we have to do is turn the page.
All right, Gale, here you go.
That devil Raphael was telling the truth. There's no doubt. The crown of Karsus is what's controlling the Elder Brain. And this is no mere journal. It contains Karsus's original plans for the crown's construction. His designs for godhood.
didn't this crown kill Karsus?
Not exactly. It was what he did with it that sealed his fate, and, for a time, that of magic itself. The crown was merely the means. The book states that the crown and netherstones were originally one construct, seemingly sundered at the moment of Karsus's downfall. If we can collect the crown setting and the 3 netherstones, and with the correct invocation of certain spells and gestures detailed in these notes, I think I could reforge it.
The crown caused the crown's caused chaos. We should be seeking a way to destroy it, not make it more powerful.
Do not mistake the crown itself for the actions of its wearer, or rather, those controlling its wearer at present. If we could restore its former glory, it would no longer be a mere leash and collar used to subjugate friend or foe. It would be something greater, something divine. Just think of it. The power of the gods in mortal hands at last would be free of doctrine and dogma, confined only by the limits of our imaginations. I promise you, the gods will never grant us such a blessing, no matter how much we worship and adore them.
You think Mistra would let you do this?
I don't know. Ao does not look kindly on gods meddling in mortal affairs. She may have no choice but to stand by and let events unfold. Even with the fate of the world at stake, she had little more to offer me than the means of blowing myself up at a more convenient time. She's done nothing to help us. Mistra wanted the brain obliterated because of this crown. She fears a world in which such power is beyond her control, ready to be claimed by Karsus's successor.
You believe yourself to be that successor?
Not until this moment. But I can't help beginning to see such a destiny unfold before me. Powerful as he was, Karsus lacks some advantages I can lay claim to. I know Mistra intimately, and I carry a fragment of the weave itself within my body. Karsus achieved many things, but he never managed that. A long road lies ahead before the crown comes into our possession. All I ask for now is that you do not dismiss this possibility out of hand. Please, at least think on it.
I don't know, man. I kind of wish I could go back and pick some other dialogue options. I want to stretch out this conversation more. I don't want to just end it here. This is kind of an important conversation. How far back can I load? Oh, God, very far. Fine, I'll let it pass. This is a very complicated matter. Should I let Gale do it? I I don't know. I literally just read like a piece of paper that was like, hubris is the downfall of the wizard. It sounds pretty hubrisful, my dude. It also, like, the crowd is also like bad, you know, or not. It's not like bad, but it's. I don't know. I don't think you should do it. I don't think you should do it. Or should I? Like, it does sound like it. Yeah, it does sound promising. Does this mean you would take Mistress' place? I don't fully understand the crown. I need to think this over. Alternatively, this could save his life. I'm thinking to myself, you're convinced. All right, I'll just say, you're a convincing man, Gale. The crown sounds promising.
I'm glad you can recognize this for the opportunity it is. Nevertheless, not a step to take lightly. It's our future that I'm thinking of. Can't rely on anyone else to do it for us. For now, we've learned all we can. Whatever comes of this, we cannot allow the crown to be reforged in Raphael's image. A devil wielding the might of Carsus. It would be the end of everything.
Oh, what the fuck? Hi, Elemenster. Oh shit, he's probably pissed I looted his vault. Also, Gale, do you have that book in your inventory? Oh, yeah, you know. Can I read that? Notes on a certain crown named after its creator, used to unmake magic at its very arcane foundations. Oh god, he's probably pissed at me. I can read it. Alright. An ancient handwritten book, rebound at least twice, that purports to be notes written by the Mage Carsus himself. Much of it is in the personal wizard's cipher, but the final page is written in clear text. My great spell of transcendence is mine alone, not to be committed to ink or in parchment, not to be committed to ink in parchment. But I have also forged 3 supreme enchanted items that are the physical embodiments of my wizardry, and all of them I shall make record. There is a crown, an orb, and a scepter. Each night alive, and with its own power and purpose. And these I call the regalia of Karsus. The crown of Karsus, to attract and absorb magical knowledge, and give the wearer dominion over himself, so that he remains his own entity apart from the weave. The orb of Karsus, a storage device or battery that condenses mystic power, ever gathering so that it must be siphoned at intervals of its excess. The scepter of Karsus, an instrument of projection, a focusing utensil for all the precise wielding of unimaginably vast forces. Know of these items you must, for if I fail to achieve immortality, they will persist, dare I say, live on beyond me. I think we can get our hands on the scepter. That sounds cool. Whoa! I got a scroll from that. Cool. It's actually worth reading. I should probably read the book from Elemenster's place before I give it back. So many things. The Red Knight's final stratagem. Legendary. Warning. Extremely powerful knowledge may include curses. Before her time as an exarch of Tempest and goddess of strategy, the Red Knight was a paladin most devout. She toured armies the world over as both student and teacher, and thus she was elevated by Tempest to her current status. These pages contain that of her which was left on the material plane after her ascension. Scroll of Artistry of War. Sick. The Thearchitate Codex. Extremely powerful knowledge may include curses. Oh god. The pages are covered in esoteric symbols and strange runes, some indecipherable, but some strangely familiar. Your eyes are drawn to one page, describing a long-lost book, The Necromancy of Thay. These are secrets, there are secrets of life. There are secrets of life and death known only to the Red Wizards. Committing such secrets to parchment is a risk they are loath to take, lest the unworthy gaze upon them. Who better than to guard their secrets than the spirits of the jealous dead themselves? To look upon the necromancy of Thay is to risk madness at the hands of its spirits. But the wise traveler who can thread the line between life and death will find knowledge witnessed by precious few mortals. The rest of the entry details the precautions and risks associated with reading the text, but lays out a clear path to unraveling the secrets contained in this tome. Mm. Also, red wizards mentioned, just like the movie. Do you think we get to fight with red wizards? That'd be awesome. The game and the movie did come out at like a similar time, right? It'd be cool if we get like a crossover. Hey, what's up, Elementster? Oh god, am I cursed? Uh-oh. I am cursed. My constitution is reduced by 5. Oops. That's alright. Shadowheart knows remove curse. I'm actually genuinely not worried. I think it's actually fine. Elementster, what's up? How you doing? Hope you're not pissed.
Elminster?
Oh, hello, my boy. No, don't mind me. I'm just enjoying a lungful of bull durian air. Yes, a distinctive aroma, though perhaps not one worthy of bottling. I hear you've been browsing in the most esteemed of Emporium's sorcerous sundries. Indulge my curiosity. What wonders did you discover there?
Can I trust Elminster? I think I can trust Elminster, right? He has a Gandalf-like face. I trust Gandalf. We found the Annals of Karsus. It proved an enlightening read.
So, you have learned the truth of the enemy we face. The very tool with which its eponymous creator unmade magic itself. Perhaps now you understand what is at stake here, my boy. Though what Mr. asked of you was extreme, it was not without merit, nor demanded lightly.
What are you saying? Or rather, what are you not saying?
Mr. knows you defied her, Gale. Of course she knows. She's Mistra. She bids you come to her holy shrine in the Stormshore Tabernacle. There, she will grant you an audience at last.
Stay silent.
Mistra's willing to speak to me again? Was this your doing, Elminster?
She knows what I see in you, just as I know what she sees in you. I was not born an old man. I know all too well what it's like to have a goddess fill your heart with longing. Looking at you is like gazing into a mirror that shows centuries long past.
The past is the past, Elminster. And the future is, well, still to be decided. By me. Not by Mistra.
If there is another way, I trust you can find it. It is not in your nature, or mine, to stop looking, to accept the first answer to any dilemma. Do what you can. Put that mind to work. Trust in yourself. Trust in the weave. If you are willing, trust in Mistra. There is a conclusion yet to be written in this sorry tale, Gale of Waterdeep. And yours is the quill
that will right it.
So all it took to get Mistra's attention was to learn how to reforge an artifact that once destroyed her. It's obvious when you stop to think about it.
You sure you want to go to her? She might want to punish you.
I think Elminster's last message was the one carrying the punishment. Having respectfully declined it, I think she's willing to negotiate. This is a conversation that's long overdue on both sides. I owe it to her to hear her out. Come what may afterwards.
I agree. It's time we headed for Storm Shore Tabernacle.
After you.
Oh, this is an interesting development. I'm also so glad Elminster is not pissed that I looted his vault. Why is Gandalf here? I don't know. Gandalf is here because he is Gale's former teacher, kinda. He's also like one of the most legendary like wizards in the land, and is I don't know. Just where there is it kind of it is kind of like a Gandalf situation. His whole deal is kind of a bit of like where there is things of the weave and the the world altering magic. I guess he's there. You know, he's one of the colored wizards, like in Tolkien. I suppose that's the vibe I get. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not 100% sure on the Gale explained it to me a while ago. I would have to look back on the footage. He explained it to me before I went into the haunted forest. Anyway. Hey, I killed a guy who was trying to trap you.
Come to bask in the glow of the Moon Maiden's sword? Be most welcome.
I have reason to believe a mercenary named Aradin might try to capture you.
A mercenary, you say? Then I must find out who has set a price upon my head and take theirs in kind. I will sleep with both eyes open this night.
Oh. Wait, I already killed him.
Come to bask in the glow of the Moon Maiden's sword?
I have defeated Lororican, the wizard who sought to hunt you down.
I am not surprised. You have a great talent for tearing down Dame Aylin's enemies. Thank you, my friend. From the bottom of my heart.
Cool. Can't wait to see you fight. Cool shit. Alright, I need Shadowheart to
Poor Gale.
remove the curse.
I hope he knows that a goddess abandoning him needn't be the end. I know from experience.
Oh, everyone has something to say.
It seems like you have ample company already. Lead the way.
Oh, you leveled up.
To waste.
I forgot about that. What did you get? Sanctuary. Command, Shield of Faith, Healing Word. Great, I have to take something away from you. We'll do planar binding. Alright, fine. So I can give you heal. Planar ally is also good. Blade barrier, create undead. Cool. Alright, where's the remove curse? Nice.
Can't give up now.
I have been curse removed. Damn, man, you gave me 20 points of fucking temp HP? Holy shit, girl. I forgot, your healings are goated now. What was I gonna do next? Also, I have so many fucking buffs, dude. Look at this line, dude. Look at all this. These are all my buffs. And you know what's even funnier? I still haven't used a single short rest. Alright, how do I make it go down? I can't make it go down. Okay, well that's just stuck there now. Oh, one now. Alright, well for the most part we're kind of done. I've set out to finish what I have done to what I have sought out to do today. So that's gonna be the stream. Thank you to everyone who joined, which means it's raid time. Oh boy, yay, yeah, woo, raid time, woo. I sound tired because I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get some food. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna chomp. I'm gonna go chomp, chomp, chomp. I'm gonna go nom, 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 nom. Alright, who's streaming? Who can we raid out to? Who can we raid out to? Yawn. Anyone have any recommendations? Yeah, I put some music on. Only ones I have on are VT, Panico, and porcelain maid. Also, this is the Cult of the Lamb soundtrack. All right. I think I am going to. I don't know. I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna look at these friendos that you have recommended, Squirrel. I trust your recommendations. Which one's porcelain maid? Neither are furry, so I have noticed. That's okay. I have. See, here's my anxiety: is I only have like like bigger furry streamers, and like I get scared rating people who are like fucking like huge, dude. Like I'm just a little guy. I'm just a little guy. Oh, I could raid Volk Wolf for like the third time. This would be the third time in a row. Should I? I do trust his vibe. All right, I'm raiding Volk Wolf. Raiding gives me anxiety. I only ever really want to pick safe picks because I got traumatized when I had one bad pick, and it did not go well. Ooh boy, and that forever like scarred me and gave me anxiety on top of the anxiety that I already live with. Anyway, I'm gonna make the raid message appropriate to like do as soon as it lets me fucking do this. Okay. And you gave me a treat. I can't even eat it right now. I mean, I'm gonna go eat. That'll be the treat. I'm gonna go eat IRL. All right, the raid message is gonna be um 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 you know what? Let's just have it be that. We'll just do uh um uh that's it. That's the message. All right, everyone. Goodbye. Adios. Bye bye.